so much to unpack here. I feel like I love when I have someone on that I'm like, I don't even know which question to ask first. So thank you. So, okay, let's just dial back for a moment to the Reiki and how much pressure, I'm wondering if you feel when you're going to provide that to a client, feeling like you have to be so clear. And what do you do about that? Like, what if you're just in a really bad place, or you're having a terrible day, or how do you, you know,
Yeah, so we're human, and so we all get those days.
Sure.
And so, now I used to now, like, people wait at least 2-3 weeks to get an appointment, and so I don't want to be like, I know you're looking forward. I mean, God, obviously, if I have physical symptoms, we live in a world where you have to cancel,
Yes,
right?
of course.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, emotionally, like, let's say, like, my son, I love him, but he stressed me out recently right before I was supposed to see someone. And so what I do, Reiki is not a not a religious based practice. For me, it's very faith based, and I go back to my religion in order to draw and to connect that kind of energy. So right away, it happened right before my client came. Right away, I connected to my my belief system, and I said, please take this anger and transmute this to love. Please take all this this strong emotion and change it to a positive, strong emotion. And let me tell you, that person who had that appointment, she was like, I've been coming to you for like 3 years. I don't know what just happened.
Wow.
I don't know where I went, but I'm going to tell you what I think I may have dreamt. And profound. So that you have to be able to transmute energy. You have to change energy, and you have to find your own tool. And that's my tool. So everybody's got to kind of find their own way with that. Some people cancel if they don't feel a certain way. I think it's because I'm real scrappy, and I try to, like, learn from everything, and use it. I use it and I transmute it. Some people cancel, and then other people, they may just do whatever they can, like whatever they.
So wait, I want to understand. They cancel, so they have to be in a very open place too. I thought just you did.
No, a practitioner. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
another
I gotcha.
practitioner might be like, you know what? I'm angry. I don't want to get this on the person. I don't want to affect because you also have interaction just talking, I don't want to be, negative or not listening. Maybe
Sure.
I should reschedule them. No. Very rarely will I get someone here who's like, I feel great. Hey, I just came here no, I usually get people just wait until they're like,
Yes.
and then,
Yes.
You get the new people all the time that are like, I don't know why I'm crying. And I'm like, well, I do.
Yeah.
But I don't read minds. I think that's important, because when I first had Reiki done, I was like, oh my God, he's reading my mind. Like, and when you think someone's reading your mind, at least for me, you think really weird and really like, yeah, like, oh, I shouldn't be thinking of that. Oh,
Right.
So,
yeah. That's funny. All right. So let's move on to an earth keeper shaman and what that exactly means. You had it in your bio, and I just had somebody recently ask me, what is a shaman? So I'm curious for you to share that with our listeners.
Okay. So a shaman, like in an indigenous culture, a shaman is really a very respected position, and I think it's something that's kind of like handed down. You are really groomed for the position. It's part of your lineage. It depends which culture. That's why I don't really put down that I'm a shaman, because I really feel like that's when people think of a shaman, they think of this, mystical member of an indigenous group that can move between spirit worlds, and almost like I think of a medicine man type thing, or woman. But what happened with me was those type of people from Peru, the shaman, under the group of Alberto Villoldo, who I believe he's an anthropologist, and he's written several books. He studied them, and they agreed to come to the United States to share their wisdom. And they had said that they were told that the earth was going through a very pivotal point that was coming up, and that they were willing, I believe they only did 2 ceremonies, one at Omega and one at Kripalu, each with 150 people in each ballroom. And this was probably about, I would say 4 years ago, that they would come here and try to, much like the Reiki attunement, where you go through this ritual or what have you, they would try to attune, but they call it a transmission, someone in the group to get this knowledge to become a keeper, a guardian of the earth, to help others, to lead others in how best to help themselves, their brothers and sisters, and Pachamama, the earth. And I had never left my children. My children were, in high school, and it was only for a weekend, but I was always like so hands-on, very controlling-ish in certain regards, especially when it came to the kids. But something told me I had to go. So I went with a friend, and we were in a ballroom, and this was at Kripalu, and there were quite a few people there that were seriously ill, and they were going there more to like get the healing and what have you. It was a lot of meditation, a lot of beautiful, beautiful meditation, more than anything else. And they were trying to explain the prophecy of the world about to come to this apex. And after the meditations, they had us line up, and they put together an altar and these other sort of sacred items. And then they sort of blessed you. And that was really it. And if it took, it took. It was via intention and transmission of the mind. I mean, for many people, they said, for many of you, nothing's going to happen. This is just, we've just been instructed by spirit that we have to come here and do this. So they did. And I went with a friend, and it was just so beautiful. And she went at Kripalu at the time, you could get all kind of metaphysical services in addition to the workshop. So she was going to get a card read, and I was going wherever, and we were going to meet in the room. So one of the instructions they gave us, the shaman, were, listen, if anybody feels a little strange, just take a shower, and that will help to ground you. And then we'll meet at the fire ceremony, and we'll talk and this and that. So I said, okay. So I felt super strange though. But again, I am very, very sensitive. So I said, you know what? You've been meditating for hours. You barely ate, just go to the room, take a shower. Don't let your mind go wild. And again, I went back to my whole religious, like, what have you done? Oh my, So, what I felt like though was that I had somebody else's eyeglasses on. Like the floor looked like it was higher than it was, and I was trying to navigate my footing. I took a shower. My roommate came back, my friend. I said, do you feel weird? She also felt weird. We said, well, we'll go to the fire ceremony. I'm sure everybody feels weird. Now, we didn't do any herbs or take ayahuasca, nothing like that. This is totally clean, a regular sort of like spot in the United States, in Massachusetts. So, or in the Berkshires. So we were asking everybody, because we assumed everybody else would feel weird, right? But no one else felt weird. But she and I are both super sensitive, so we said it's us. But then the weird thing that happened when we left, and at the time, I don't even think I owned my place yet or even started doing healings. I bought these like woven bags, because that was a way for them to take some money back to Peru. They made hats, they made scarves, they made bags. So as I said, there were 150 people there, and we're all, buying, and the shaman have their iPads. That's what they were using to like ring up the orders. It was funny because they're so like ancient and mystic. And then you have the iPad. It was just like, so And then me, out of all people, they called me back. I thought I took something that I wasn't supposed to. I was like, yeah. And they're like, they took the woven bags and they blessed them. And my friend's like, well, why do they only bless yours? And I'm like, I don't know. And then like a year later, I realized that's what I use for my, like medicine bags, or where I put my whatever I need, my crystals, whatever you want to call it. So
sure.
I feel like they must have like seen that I would be using them for
oh, so they sensed that you had this sensitivity, that what you said, if it took, it took. So they sensed that it took for you, that you were. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. That's so interesting. So, okay. So an earth keeper shaman, would that be sort of someone who has the ability to heal?
No. So that's just a title that was given to me and the other, the inclusive 150 people at the one location and the other 150.
Okay.
So,
okay.
That's just like the title.
I gotcha. Okay. So interesting. So let's just move on to sound healing. And I want you to just share with everyone what that is and how it heals. And I know we did this. I know I did this with you. It's very interesting. So I'm anxious for you to share with everyone listening.
So, like anything else, everything can be used for the greater good, or it can be weaponized. And the same is true for frequency. Frequency is extremely powerful. And you have to be very respectful of it. And if you think of an ultrasound in a medicinal setting, that unit using sound waves can literally make you see inside the body, right? So these are very strong things. The bowls that I use are many and varied. I have some that are bronze. I have some that are crystal. I have some that are aligned with certain energy centers. But really, it all kind of goes back to quantum physics and the idea that everything is moving always through vibration, sound, frequency, light, particle, vibration, waves. And so we're talking about sound waves. And so my scientific brain especially embraces the sound, because in the Reiki, I can be like, well, this is kind of like therapeutic touch. I think that's probably how this works. But with the sound, there literally is a frequency for the bowl. I can take a unit just the way somebody would test their guitar or their piano, and I can test the frequency of a bowl that I am using. How many hertz is this frequency of this? And so what I've mostly been doing with the sound is helping people going through great stress, people that are going through traditional medical procedures and want an integrative approach for relaxation. And so that's kind of where the sound comes in. The bowls can be laid on the body. They can be above the body. They can be in a group setting, can be in a private setting. And I do all of these. What I did, again, so what I'm trying to do, I was talking about the pop-up shops. I'm trying to get people that are not afraid, that are willing to, let's say, go in a grocery store and wear a mask. I'm giving them an option to come have a healing, wear a mask, and be in an even smaller setting where less people potentially work, right? The yoga studio, Jaluka Yoga in Hillsdale, that's where I worked first when I graduated from teacher training. And this summer, she was the first person to offer yoga outside. It was a lifesaver for me. Yes, I'm a yoga teacher. Do I want to be training by myself all the time? No, I do not. I want to be in a group setting. So she was the first one. So as a thank you, I said to her, please, let me try to get people back in the studio. Offer sound healing. Sound healing typically in a group setting is at least $35. But I said, let them use their yoga cards. Let them pay, if someone drops in, let them pay like $20, have an hour of sound healing, have it just to get them back in the studio. I have a mask on, they have a mask on, everyone's got separated 6 feet away. So she was like, all right, we'll give it a whirl. And thank God, every Monday night at 7:00, it's limited to 9 people. People book in advance. And every Monday night at 7, I offer a different version of sound healing. So some weeks I just bring the drum. I have 2 native drums, and we do a shamanic journey, which it takes you very deep into meditation. That's for like soul retrieval, deep wounds, things like that. This week we did the 7 energy centers of the body, the chakra system. And I have 7 bowls that align with each chakra. And we did that. The week before, I did whale sounds on the gong, giant gong. It's called the Atlantis gong. And we did a lot of meditating on water because it sounds like whale sounds. So the uses of sound are many and varied. And I think going forward, it is one of the best things. It allegedly, and I can't prove this, but I've read it somewhere, that it can help clean the dirty EMFs that go through us all day because we're always on technology and what have you. So it helps kind of clean that. And again, it's assisted meditation because you really can't think of anything else because your mind, it just connects to the resonance and you're like, what's that sound? And then before you know it, you're lost in it. So, and you actually feel the vibration. You do feel it.
Just the way in meditation, some meditations are about focusing on the breath. Is this about focusing on the hear, like the sound? Mm-hmm.
I think so. I mean, it can be. It can be. For some people, it's just some people it's quite visceral in the body. So when the sound bowls are on the floor, they really are lulled by the vibration on the floor. Some people it's the sound, all different.
Yeah. Right. So interesting. So just to give people a visual, how do you make the sound with the bowl? Is it like a little?
I have one here. You want me to grab it?
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Okay. So just keep in mind that Zoom really is not an ideal platform for this kind of frequency. So you won't be able, that's why I don't do online sound healings because I don't feel like it really goes through. But I'm just going to give you a couple little taps. So this is the root bowl chakra. Your root is at the base of your tailbone. It helps you feel grounded and connected to the earth. If your root chakra is not balanced, you can feel out of body. You can feel nervous, more prone to feelings of fear. So here we go. Let's give it a couple. We'll give 3 taps. We'll see what happens. And then I'll use the rimming one. And these bowls are heavy. You think I got these guns from Ariel?
Yeah, right. I know. That's so good. I love that you brought that out. And for people to just hear it, I think it's so like when you're trying to, for people who aren't, familiar with this, it's really sort of a good little introduction, and hearing it, I think helps people to understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, my husband, we're Italian. So when he sees this bowl, he's like, is it pasta time? But
that'll be some pasta dinner.
When you rim the bowl, this is another one. I don't know if this will come through, but this tends to make it a little bit of a higher pitch. So it's softer, but on my end, you can really feel it.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. And as I
mentioned, you felt it live.
Yes, I was going to say, as I've mentioned, I've been with you live. So yes, I totally get it. Well, thank you. Thank you for bringing that out. And I want to just ask you one more thing. In your bio, you mentioned that you are a good channel acting as a bridge from divine wisdom to those in need. Just expand on that. I thought it was so interesting.
So if anybody's listening and you're the person that dogs randomly run up to, or, you know, children are drawn to, or people just seem to tell you all of their problems, you might also be a super good channel. Not that if you're not that, you might not be, but it's probably something that you've recognized your whole life. And once you become sensitive to that, to knowing that babies and dogs that are very sensitive to, like, if you think about a dog, they have a better sense of smell than all of us, their eyes. They acutely can recognize that you have this ability. We all have it, again, but maybe yours is a little bit easier for you to access. I think that's all that it is that I can, now I've embodied what other extraneous dogs, people, whatever, have always seen in me. Now I can embody it, and I can teach other people how to do that for themselves, and how to really not just survive, but to thrive, to like really live this life, not just stay alive, not just get through even the difficult parts. You know, it's all about, I think, the dominoes, and just helping people to help themselves, you know, and just like what you do, it's the same thing. It's, you're a bridge in many regards, and all we really are is empowerers. We empower people, and that's what everybody needs so much more right now. So anybody can do it. Anybody can be a bridge. They just take, you know, connection. Today I'll be teaching 8-year-olds circus arts. And today I was off from Bergen Community College teaching chair yoga and dance to 80-year-olds. So physically I'm a bridge this way, but
I love that.
And let me tell you, now, if you go into a store, every single one of us that goes into a store or orders something online, talks to a person, we have an obligation to be a bridge, to make conversation with who you are interacting with, because that's what being a bridge and being a channel of healing is right now. And every one of us should be one of that.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful, and such a great way to end this fabulous conversation. I mean, you are just a bright light, and I love being in your presence, and I love being here with you and sharing with everybody who's listening. So thank you so much, Tony. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom. So grateful. And just wishing everybody a beautiful, bright day today. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye,
Be well, everybody.